like to start today by why the job and not the person should be evaluated when it comes to pay. The heart of this issue is fairness. A fair pay system makes sure that people doing jobs of equal value are compensated equally. That fairness comes from looking at the work itself, its skill requirements, the level of responsibility the job has, and the working conditions, not from who happens to be in the role. When companies focus on the individual instead of the job, they open the door for inconsistency and even bias. For example, some managers will invent new titles just to give someone a pay raise. On paper, it looks like a different job, but in reality, the responsibilities haven't changed. This is sometimes called the title game, and it causes big problems. It inflates payroll costs, makes coworkers feel cheated, and even creates legal risk because it looks like favoritism. On the other hand, when compensation is based on job descriptions and clear hierarchies, employees know that their pay is linked to actual value of their work. That builds trust within a company. It also connects the idea of organizational justice. People judge fairness in 3 ways. Is the process fair? Are the outcomes fair? And are they treated fairly in how decisions are communicated? By focusing on jobs rather than the individuals, organizations can show that they are applying consistent standards. Employees see that decisions aren't arbitrary, which strengthens their confidence in the system. Now let's move to the next part of our discussion, which is, should there be a maximum rate of pay for every job? I believe the answer is yes. Every job has a market value, what other companies are willing to pay for that similar work, and organizations need to use that as a guide. That means setting a minimum, a midpoint, and a maximum for each role. The maximum tells employees this is the highest rate for this job as it currently is defined. Why does this matter? Some of you may ask. Without a maximum, long-tenured employees can end up making far more than the job is worth compared to the market. That puts the company at a disadvantage because payroll costs can spiral out of control, and it can even hurt the employee because if they leave, they may never find another company willing to match the inflated price that we were setting them at. By capping that range, the organization protects both itself and its employees, ensuring that pay remains competitive and realistic for their job. By setting a maximum doesn't mean high performers stop being rewarded. Organizations can use variable pay, which includes bonuses, profit sharing, or performance incentives to recognize employees who go above and beyond in their role. That way, people still see a financial benefit for strong performance, but the base pay structure remains consistent and fair for all. This brings me to the next critical point, which are incentives need to be designed carefully. If they are not, they can do more harm than good. One of the clearest examples of this came from a well-known company that set an 8 is great sales target. This came from Wells Fargo, where employees were told to sell 8 accounts for every customer. On the surface, it sounded like a great way to drive revenue, but it turned out to be a disaster for the company. The goal was unrealistic and pressured the employees to hit a specific goal that was intense. Employees began to open fake accounts just to meet the target, and over time, millions of unauthorized accounts were created. Why did this happen? A few reasons. First, the target was simply not achievable on a large scale. Second, managers and employees alike were rewarded financially for hitting the goal and creating a pressure cooker environment. And third, the company lacked safeguards. There was no safety to catch and correct the abuse. Employees who played by the rules were punished or even pushed out of the company, while those who cut corners were rewarded. This shows exactly how poorly designed incentives can spiral into bad systems and encourage the opposite of what leadership intended. The lesson here is clear. Pay systems should balance ambition with realism. Incentives should stretch employees but not push them into unethical or harmful behavior. And organizations need strong internal controls to prevent abuse. Without those, even the best intentions can end up damaging employees and the company. Finally, let's look at what someone like Rebecca can do if they reach their maximum of their pay range. It's easy to think of hitting the ceiling as the end of growth, but in reality, there are many ways to move forward. One option is promotion. If Rebecca is ready to take on new responsibilities, lead a team, or move into a more complex role, she can step into a higher pay grade with a higher ceiling. Another option is job enrichment. If she takes on additional duties, learns new tasks, or expands her role in a way that adds more value to the company, her position might be reclassified in a higher level. Rebecca also has the access to variable pay opportunities. Even if her base salary can't increase, she can still earn through performance bonuses or incentive plans or even project-based rewards. This allows her contributions to be recognized without breaking the pay structure. Some companies also use longevity bonuses or recognition programs for employees who have consistently contributed over the years, like Rebecca has for the past 14 years. And perhaps most importantly, professional development opens new doors. By gaining certifications or advancing training or gaining more leadership experience, people like Rebecca can position themselves for the next step in their career. That kind of growth makes people like her more eligible for higher paying roles down the road. So let's bring this all together of what we've talked about today. Evaluating the job and not the person creates fairness and consistency within a company, which employees value deeply. Maximum pay ranges are essential to keep salaries aligned with the market and to protect both the organization and employees from unfair distortions. Incentives are powerful but must be designed with care. When they are unrealistic or unchecked, they can become dangerous, as we've seen in real-world cases. And for employees like Rebecca, reaching the top of their pay range isn't the end. It's an opportunity to seek promotion, expand their roles, take advantages of variable pay options that we offer, or invest in skill developments for their future. Ultimately, a strong compensation system is one of the balances fairness, competitiveness, and motivation, while also guarding against the risk of distortion. It's about creating a structure employees trust, one that rewards them fairly today while preparing them for growth tomorrow. And that's ultimately what, as a company, we want from our employees. Thank you all for meeting today, and I really hope that clears up everything.